THQ Nordic, Chief Exec Lars Wingefors, has apologized and taken full responsibility for THQ Nordic Gam's recent comment on Internet Dive 8chan. The anonymous forum is notorious for harboring the dregs of humanity and is filled with hate speech, far-right conspiracy theorizing, and pedophilic content. Despite that fact, THQ Nordic Gamma subsidiary of THQ Nordic inexplicably chose to host an Ask Me Anything session there last week, and in a now deleted tweet that read, "We are doing an 8chan Nama, and we have no idea why. Come join us," seemed almost giddy at the prospect. The decision received widespread condemnation from most corners of the Internet, and eventually brought about an apology from the company's PR and marketing director Philip Brock, who claimed he was sorry for his short-sightedness. Now, Wingefors has waded into the mire, and in an open letter offered his sincerest apologies to group employees, partners, and consumers, while condemning all of the unethical content 8chan stands for. "I take full responsibility for all of THQ Nordic Gam's actions and communications. I have spent the past several days conducting an internal investigation into this matter. I assure you that every member of the organization have learned from this past week's events. Hereout, I take this matter very seriously, and we will take appropriate action to make sure we have the right policies and systems in place to avoid similar mistakes in the future." As a Swedish-based, fast-growing group, we firmly support equality and diversity. We are also working actively to combat discrimination, harassment, and misconduct. We are already in the process of developing new work processes, and we will accelerate this work going forward. Niantic announced its Beyond Reality Developer Contest earlier today, and is encouraging devs to enter and create a game using the studio as a real-world platform for a chance at a prize pool of more than $1 million. This could be a good opportunity for developers interested in using a new tool to create projects, and the chance at earning a stipend and showing their work at a demo day hosted by Niantic. As explained in a blog post, the studio is seeking a team composition of at least 5 developers with experience in Unity and Java server development. In terms of product, the possibilities are endless. Our definition of games is pretty expansive, so if you have an idea that bridges gaming and other areas like physical activity, social, travel or shopping, please feel free to submit. The post reads, "A select group of 10 teams will earn a stipend and access to the Niantic real-world platform, and finalists will work for a 3-month period, with the goal of showing off their work at a demo day in San Francisco. In addition to regular guidance and discussion from the Niantic engineering team, finalists will be brought to the San Francisco Bay Area to meet with executives and lay the groundwork for the work to come. Interested developers are encouraged to apply through Niantic's contest site and field any further questions to DAPK, email protected." Jason Rohrer, the developer behind 1 Hour 1 Life, published a blog post earlier today detailing the confusing events that transpired after launching the successfully commercial game under public domain, only for it to be unofficially ported to mobile. This is a good reminder for developers who choose to upload their work under public domain to take caution when doing so, and use Rohrer's experience as a lesson in what to do should they find themselves in a similar situation. Rohrer begins with explaining that, just like with his previous games, 1 Hour 1 Life is placed in the public domain, and is not subject to copyright. The content and code of the game are available on a public GitHub server for other developers to access. There have been unofficial adaptations of my work in the past. Rohrer writes, there was never any confusion about these adaptations, and I generally have no interest in controlling other people, so the more the merrier. But now there's an official adaptation, one elder one left for mobile, which Rohrer says is causing confusion and more players and reviewers alike. The aforementioned mobile developers behind the adaptation implemented design changes that strayed from Rohrer's vision, which was an issue because players thought the decision was approved by him. Rohrer requested the mobile dev be clear in its marketing and promotion of the game to be transparent about how the unofficial adaptation was. Just that unofficial. Rohrer even provided sample wordings the studio could use, but they responded with wording that was confusing and not the clear wording that I originally asked for. The unofficial mobile adaptation was published on TapTap, an online mobile store, last week in China, as a free demo, with Rohrer writing that the wording on the splash screen and in the TapTap App Store text was missing. No mention of it being an adaptation. No mention of it being unofficial. So what can Rohrer do about it? He admits that he's making it up as he goes along, but sent over a few solutions to the mobile devs in an attempt to make things right. Be sure to read the entire complicated debacle over at Rohrer's blog, because it's definitely worth the read. For the past 3 years, a modder that goes by the name Xcodius has been trying to recreate the original The Legend of Zelda in Doom, and now he wants some help to get the job done. Xcodius began working on the project after reacquainting himself with Zelda on the NES, and wondering what it'd be like to gallivant around an 8-bit version of Hyrule in first person. As luck would have it, that brainwave occurred just as he had begun modding for Doom, and he claims the tool felt like a natural fit from the get-go. After spending a fair bit of time working on the project, has made some startling progress. Screens and videos show an immediately recognizable retro version of Hyrule from the ground level, and THQ US tells how well the game appears to translate to first person. Unfortunately, the time-consuming nature of the project means Xcodius has been forced to pause development, but rather than letting it gather dust, the passionate modder has released the files on ModDB in the hopes that someone might help him reach the finish line. After almost 3 years, I needed to realize that I probably will not get the time to ever get anywhere with this project, let alone finish it. Here, I have received several requests to release the files to the open waves of the net, which by now I think is the only valid option. I really hope someone with the passion, or just the know-how, can have some use of this and maybe even finish it. You can check out the project, and maybe even download it yourself by heading over to the Legend of Zelda Total Conversion page on ModDB. Called Zuhiro Harada has been making Tekken games for a long time. He had been the series producer since its inception in 1994. So if anyone has perspective on the series and its place in the pantheon of fighting games, it's him. Frankly, he's one of the better people to speak to about the history of fighting games as a business. Period. Tekken has always been its own thing. As a series, it was one of the first major 3D fighting games. It's one of the first to feature extensive story, and each version adds crazy extras, from RPG modes to extensive character creators to simpler crowd-pleasing elements like the super slow mode. As Tekken 7, Fated Retribution continues the expansion of the series. Harada wants to make sure everyone knows the series has not only never gone away, it's also the best-selling fighting game series in the world, no matter what anyone else may think. In this extended interview, we discuss how Tekken is always arcade first, how the series made preparations for input lag beginning with the shift to LCD screens, and how to please both competitive and casual players simultaneously. Many people see this kind of history through their own filter of preconceptions and are unable to correctly understand the situation. One of Tekken's strong points is that it mostly unaffected by the boom in fighting games. It obviously benefited to some extent. But what happened after that is more important. Many fighting games disappeared after the 90s, as under the 2000s. RB went into hiatus.